broadcast of KWHS Channel 77. I'm Mandy Diedrich.
And I'm Erica Brown. For the past 4 weekends, students, staff, and anyone interested have been meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning at Hazelwood Central to campaign for the bond issue. These people have given their time and effort to canvass around neighborhoods with pamphlets and information about the bond issue. Thanks to everyone who participated, and don't forget, go out and vote April 6th. And now to Mark Abbott with an exclusive interview with Superintendent Dr. Chris Wright about the bond issue.
We've seen and felt it all. Overcrowding in the hallways, lack of state funding, and facilities that just don't seem quite adequate enough. Recently, I was given the opportunity to sit down with Dr. Chris Wright, Superintendent of the Hazelwood School District. The aim was to hopefully shed some light on these problems and to see what the school district is doing to solve these issues. All right, first off, Dr. Wright, I'd like to thank you for showing up and doing this interview with us. First off, could you give us an explanation what kind of problems the district is going through right now?
Sure, Mark. As you know, this is my second year in the district, and shortly after I came to Hazelwood, it became apparent that we were going to have a couple of issues that were going to be really overwhelming challenges for the district to face. The first of those, of course, is state budget cuts. I don't need to tell you what impact those have had here in Hazelwood. Certainly, they've had a big impact on everyone and students in particular. That is an issue that came up last year, and that continues to be one we're concerned with. The second issue that became apparent last year was that we were going to have some problems with facilities. Right now, many of our schools are overcrowded, and starting last fall, we saw a number of developers beginning to put in large housing developments in our school district. So those two issues, I would say, are the biggest challenges we face, facilities and funding.
What are Proposition H and Proposition First, and how are they going to relieve these issues?
Proposition H is a 98-cent tax increase. Of that 98 cents, 68 cents is simply to protect us from future state budget cuts. Both of these propositions, of course, were developed by our Citizens Committee, our Hazelwood First Citizens Committee, and the committee felt that we simply couldn't tolerate the kind of cuts that the state was talking about for next year. This year, of course, we cut $8 million out of the budget. It's possible that next year we could have cuts of twice that amount. So that 68 cents would simply protect us from those cuts and keep programs and services even. The other 30 cents will provide additional staff and equipment to equip new schools that we hope to build under Proposition First.
Right. And Proposition First? Proposition
First is a $65 million bond issue. It's phase one of a 10-year program that the committee has developed. This particular phase, Proposition First, will build 4 additional middle schools in the district. So we would have a total of 6 middle schools altogether.
How much can a district resident expect to pay if the propositions do get passed?
When these propositions pass next Tuesday, the owner of a $100,000 home will have an increase in their property tax of about $291 a year.
All right. What do you say to the criticism that this amount might be too much and that we should focus more on fixing the funding issues at a state level rather than local?
Well, I would say that certainly we've been working very hard over the last year and a half to address issues at the state level. And I have to say that most of our representatives, our elected representatives here in the Hazelwood area, have in fact been very supportive of education issues. Unfortunately, they've not been in a position to prevail. And no one who knows anything about Jefferson City is giving us any encouragement. They're telling us that it may be, in fact, several more years before these problems are solved at the state level.
Going on further from that, further into that, what kind of representation did the Hazelwood School District have at the Kids First Rally, February 16th in Jefferson City, and what did this exactly accomplish?
Well, we had several hundred people. I think we probably had close to 300 teachers, parents, administrators. Most of us rode up on buses, and so we had an experience going up to Jeff City and back that day. I think what it accomplished was that it got people's attention. I think that maybe for the first time, a lot of people were really made aware of the fact that there's a significant problem at the state level.
How many votes are we going to have to get the propositions passed?
Proposition H requires a simple majority. That's 50% plus 1. Proposition First requires a 4/7 vote, which is a little over 57%.
What has been done so far to campaign for these propositions?
Well, in my career, I've done a lot of campaigns for bond issues and for tax increases, and I can honestly say that I've never been a part of a campaign where we did more to get the news out to people. We've done everything that we could possibly think of. By the time the campaign's over, we will have had 6 mailings that have gone to our registered voters. We have had telephone banks. Teachers right now, in fact, are calling their students' parents to remind them about the propositions. Next Sunday night and Monday night, we'll have banks of people who will be calling our yes voters. I think probably the most intense thing we've done is the canvassing. Every Saturday for the past 4 weeks, we've had over 500 people on the streets of our school district knocking on doors and talking to folks about propositions H and first. Through that process, we've been able to identify our yes households, and those are the people that we're reminding to vote and sending postcards to remind them to vote and so forth. We have an advertising package that will have some spots on the radio starting this weekend. We've had newspaper ads, we've had letters to the editor, we have bumper stickers, we have buttons. I can't think of anything else that we could possibly have done.
All right, and when do you actually see the state education budget crisis ending? When will they actually see that education isn't what needs to be cut?
That's a good question, Mark, and I wish I knew the answer. I could just say that the next few years, I think, are going to be very difficult. People are telling us, people who know a lot about these issues are telling us that unless there's a significant change in the makeup of our General Assembly, that these issues will probably continue for several more years. I would say that my advice to people is that you need to be very careful about who you elect in November. When our state representatives come up for election, I think it's important that we all look at their voting record and see whether or not they support education and make sure that we elect the right people.
All right, and last question. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to say to students here at West or the faculty members?
I just want to remind everyone to get out and vote on Tuesday, April the 6th, for propositions H and first. I know a lot of our students are registered voters, and I certainly hope that our students have been able to follow the progress and like you, participate in our canvassing through this campaign. So just encourage everyone to get out and vote.
I know what I'm voting for, so thank you, Dr. Wright, for coming. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate your time.
Asking these questions. All right.
And now to keep all you underclassmen up to date, sophomores should be finished with your math map testing and moving on to your science map testing when we come back from break. And juniors should be finished with your English map testing and moving to your social studies map testing when we come back from break.
And now to Michelle Hayes and Sarah Buchanan
With Finally Friday.
Hey, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Sarah.
And it's Finally Friday. This coming week is spring break, and if you hadn't made any plans yet, don't worry. We have some great ideas to keep you and your friends entertained. The St. Louis Science Center has recently opened a new exhibit called the James S. McDonald Planetarium. There, visitors can experience a simulated shuttle launch. Also, a new exhibit running through May is The Brain, the world inside your head. Guests will discover how the brain learns and thinks and the secrets of sleep and dreams. However, it does cost money, $5 for adults and $4 for youth and senior citizens.
If space isn't your thing, you can always go down to the St. Louis City Museum. There you can experience a magical world of recycled, reshaped, and recovered treasures. The newest exhibit at the museum are the Enchanted Caves. The museum offers explorers of all ages a chance to walk, climb, and crawl through sculpted caves.
If you aren't in the mood to get dirty, you could always go to the St. Louis Zoo and see the new Penguin and Puffin House or the new River's Edge experience.
We hope we gave you some great ideas for spring break. If you want to stay around here, the crew recommends stopping by Fritz's Frozen Custard. It's a great place for custard and sweet treats. Also, recently opened across the street is the Candy Depot.
We hope everyone has a safe and memorable spring break. Back to Mandy and Erica.
And now over to Nellie with the sports.
Hey Mandy, thanks a lot. Here's going on Wildcat Sports. The varsity girls soccer team got 2 outstanding scores in their first 2 wins of the week as they beat Riverview Monday by a score of 10-0 and McClure Tuesday by a score of 7-0. Their next home game is the Tuesday after spring break against Fort Zumwalt West. So everybody to get out, check out that varsity girls soccer team. The varsity baseball team has started off the year with a 3-1 record, picking up their 3rd win of the year Wednesday night against St. Charles. Dave Phelps pitched the entire game and picked up the win. However, the guys did lose a tough game Tuesday against Hazelwood Central by a score of 1-0. Pitcher Danny O'Haron picked up his first loss of the year, but hopefully the team will be able to rebound nicely.
We got Larry Von Dryzik. He's got a cannon of an arm at shortstop. He can put the bat on the ball. And Tim Beck, the other sophomore, he's ripping the balls. He's in our leadoff spot as a sophomore. He knows what he's doing up at the plate. He fouls a lot off. He fouls the ball. Doesn't strike out. But yeah, we got speed throughout the lineup. We got a good speed, except for the 3, 4, or 5 hitters aren't that fast. I'm being the 5 hitter that isn't real fast. But besides that, we got a lot of speed.
The varsity boys tennis team picked up wins Tuesday against Zumwalt West by a score of 5-2, and Wednesday against Rittner 7-0. The guys have a home match today against Zumwalt North, so everybody's to get out there, check out those Racket Cats picking up those wins on those courts out there. And the varsity boys track team has a meet tomorrow here at West, 1 o'clock. It's got about 5 schools in it. Don't know who all they are, but you know, hey, my boys Marquise and all them, yeah, they gonna, not just Marquise, but you know, the whole squad, they're gonna do it. That's pretty much all I got. Back to you, Mandy.
Thanks for tuning in to another broadcast of Channel 77.
Have a great spring break.
Meet me in outer space. We could spend the night, watch the earth come up. I've grown tired of that place.
Thanks, Nick. You're the coolest.
We could start, How do you do it? Make me feel like I do. How do you do it? It's better than I ever knew. No. Meet me in outer space. I will hold you close. If you're afraid to fight, I need you to see this place. It might be the only way that I can show you how it feels to be inside of you. How do you do it? Make me feel like I do. How do you do it? It's better than I ever knew. No. How do you do it? Make me feel like I do. Oh, you are standing